Good evening. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the 20-minute fashion distraction. I'm Jackie Jenkins, the founder of Sophisticated Curations. You know what we do every Wednesday night? We talk total fashion, and tonight is no different. I trust that everybody had an amazing week and that we're here. It's been a little hot. I know in New York it has been actually been blazing, but the summer is moving right along and that you're finding your joy in that process. So tonight's show, but actually, even before we get to the show, there's three things that I'd like you to do. And the first one is to follow the Facebook page, Sophisticated Curations. And the second one is if you could follow the Instagram page, J Curations. And if you have been enjoying the show, and I hope you have, I ask that you, if you could share it, that would be awesome. Just like everybody out here in these social media streets, I'm trying to actually grow the page so that we can grow the number of speakers that we get and really just get an audience that keeps coming in every week. And I thank you guys for joining me. So grateful for that. I see my sisters here. Hey, Jocelyn. So tonight's topic, it's something near and dear to my heart. Hi, Claudia. And actually, it is decluttering and shopping your closet. And so I don't know about you, but I am realizing. I see my mom's here, Jack's here. Hey, so it's time actually now post COVID to actually go back to our office. And tonight, what I wanted to talk about is how we can declutter our closets and shop our closets as we think about going back to the office. And so, for the way I like to call this is it's time to stop half dressing, which is basically where you're wearing a very professional top and scarf and even jewelry and maybe some really lovely earrings and have makeup on, but then you have your like fuzzy pajamas, or you like me right now, I have on leggings, because you're still in Zoom land. So as we're thinking about going back to our office, tonight's show is really getting you to stop half dressing and think about how you dress as we go forward. So, oh, Jack, thanks for the compliment on the top. This is actually one of my $10 thrift finds from Foyer Vintage, which is one of the places that I will continuously give a shout out because they're here in Brooklyn and they are a local boutique that just has some wonderful vintage pieces. So thanks for that, Jack. So one of the things that has been really clear over the last couple of weeks is helping to think about redoing our closets. 3 weeks ago, we had Pamela Watson here, and she's a celebrity stylist that talked about what to think about to wear. And she raised a great point. And her point, which I really love, was look at what your boss or what the quote unquote senior leadership in your office is doing as they're transitioning back to work, and that will give you some tips on how you may want to think about doing what you're doing. So just a thought. And then last week we had Cherie Collins who talked about not only what to wear, but your post COVID brand, in terms of what is it that you're projecting. So I see my sister's here. Yes, yes, yes. She's talking about the, my sister Jan's here. Yes, she's talking about the post COVID look. And hi, Van. Good to see you. So Cherie hit on three great questions that you should keep in mind as you're thinking about your brand. And the first is, what do people say about you when you're not in the room? What makes you fascinating? And what would you do if you could do anything? So those were her three questions about building your brand. So tonight, what I wanted to focus on was really how you think about your look post COVID and what that means from a decluttering standpoint. And one of the things that I thought was really interesting as I was thinking about the show is if you could just even take a minute to think about in your closet within a year, and not like a COVID year, but a normal year, how much of what's in your closet do you actually wear? You can actually drop it in the chat. I really gave that some thought this week, and I roughly came up with over the course of a year, I probably wear at least once 60% of what's in my closet. I don't know if that's a good or bad number. I tend to, and we're going to talk about this, keep the pieces that I love. But I don't always wear them, but I still keep them because I love them. But I really want you to think about within your closet, within a normal year, not a COVID year, how much of what's in your closet do you actually wear? Because that's one of the challenges that we have when we think about our closet in terms of, is it really functional and is it really useful because of what we have in there? And hey, Judith, yep, 40%. Yep. I totally get it. I totally get it. Please drop in the chat, how much of your closet. Jackie says 40% as well. And so one of the things that I think helps us to use more what's in our closet is to actually be intentional. And I have a little note here to share on that. Hold on. Is my first tip, and that is intentionality with your closet. So basically, establish an intention for your closet. And where I'm going with that is, it's kind of like if you were to get in a car and start driving and you didn't know where you were headed, guess what? You probably aren't going to end up where you want to be. And it's the same thing with our closets, right? If we pretty much go to stores or are online and we're purchasing or we're gathering items, and we're really not thinking about how we're going to use it, or basically what's the intention, it's not going to really get us to where we want to be from a style standpoint. So what I do, and actually I just want to share some numbers. I see a 50% from Kendra in terms of what she wears in her closet. Vans at 35%. And yeah, it's interesting when we think about given. And I live in New York, where space is an utmost premium, right? And so I don't really have the luxury to have things that I don't use. So I just throw that out there as we think about. I see 33% from Denise. What I hope will happen when we do this discussion a year from now, that you will be using more in your closet because we're going to be intentional. So one of the things that I do to be intentional with shopping, not only my closet, but how I think about just what is in my closet, is at least once a year, although I like to try and do it at the beginning of every season, I actually create a lookbook. And I'm kind of old school. I know people use Pinterest and do it digitally, this and that, but I actually create a physical lookbook where I take magazines and I cut out what I want, or what I think I want my look to be. It's kind of like the vision boards that I do at the beginning of the year. And what's nice about doing the lookbook is it gives me a focus, and I use it as a guide when I'm shopping throughout the year. I also use it. It's funny. I did my lookbook in 2020 at the beginning of the year. And one of the things that I had on my lookbook is a short fro. And wasn't really thinking about going natural at the time. I just kind of liked that whole look of a natural look, but I didn't think I was going to do it. But I put it in my book. And guess what? COVID happened and I went to a short fro. So you never know. When you put stuff in your lookbook, you can actually manifest it. But I will say, having a lookbook helps you to be intentional in terms of how you think about what's in your closet. And Leah, you're absolutely right. Cycling through different years, some things may not be worn another year. Absolutely. And rotating it is definitely a good piece of ways to do it. And Jan says paper dolls as a child. I know, right? Paper dolls have always been my thing. That's probably why I like the lookbook. So then the second tip that I have in terms of decluttering and thinking about your closet is, remember that timeless beats trendy. And where I'm going with that is, while we all love, pieces that create pop and wow and sensation, this and that, when you're thinking about building your closet, I do encourage you to think about what are the pieces that are going to be timeless. And when I say timeless, a timeless piece is any piece that basically never goes out of style. And one of the things that we talk about on the show is that your style is your style. So whatever your style is, it quote unquote never goes out of style. So it's everything from, and I don't like to call it the little black dress. I call it the all occasion black dress that you can wear to a cocktail party. You can wear to work, or you can wear it and put on sneakers and it's something casual, but just kind of those every day core pieces that are really great. Um, I have another ask that I'm going to ask you to do is within your closet, what are your timeless pieces? And where I'm going with that is if you were to look in your closet, and I see the numbers, there's 35 and 50%, this and that, but of what you wear, how many of those pieces are timeless? Where I'm going with that is I think as you have more timeless pieces in your wardrobe, you may have the opportunity to wear them more. So I went through my wardrobe and I took a minute to figure out what my timeless piece that has been with me. And actually, it's funny, I was with my mom this weekend and we were talking about it. And I think I've had this piece for at least 35 years, and I'll show it to you. It's my grandmother's stole, and it's absolutely beautiful. This is literally this is her stole, and I don't know. I think I got it. I don't even know how I got it, but it has been with me through countless moves, through countless cities, through countless joys. But it's one of my favorite timeless pieces. And it will never go out of style because one of the other things about a timeless piece is it can just be a piece that really means something to you. So this reminds me of my grandmother. So that will always, that's right, Jan, Nana May. Yep, yep, yep. And so that's one of my classic timeless piece. Oh, Leah, you are so right. The black leather jacket is always a timeless piece. And the great thing about the timeless pieces, as we're thinking about like our closets, they actually become great fillers when you're trying to figure out how to mix and match. So definitely think about what are your timeless pieces. And so the third tip that I will share on decluttering your closet is alter and restore pieces. And this one, where I'm going with that is I have always had a tailor that I kept in touch with that I really liked. My tailor here now in Brooklyn, we're kind of first name basis. And basically what having a good tailor enables you to do is you can restore your pieces, you can cut your pieces. I mean, I've had gowns that I have cut and actually made them like a high-low look. I've had pieces that I've gotten from thrift stores that I've had recut, just to make them fit me better. And I think the thing that we often forget about within our closet is we can redo the look. And if you're going back to the timeless piece, if you're buying a timeless piece, it's probably a great piece of material. So you don't necessarily want to give it away. And maybe there's a way to either change the buttons. Like I said, I play with the hemline. I've created some high lows. I've even taken pieces where I've taken off the sleeve and replaced it with a different look. I've done patches, and but what I will say is I've used a tailor for most of it. While I would love to sew, I'm not a great sewer. So for me, having a good tailor that can actually help me through that process is a key part of it. But I would definitely encourage you as you are thinking about your closet, definitely think about what can you have tailored or altered. I know that as we're going post COVID, there's been a lot of discussion about what does and what doesn't fit in your closet and things moving around, and just thinking about your tailor. Maybe there's a way that you can restore a piece by working with your tailor. Okay, so this is my favorite tip. And if you guys have tips on how you can better declutter your closet, please drop them in there. But my favorite tip is this one. And basically, it is wear what brings you joy. And where I'm going with that is, and why that's so key as we think about clearing our closets, have you ever worn a pair of shoes that just did not fit? Or a dress that's just too tight or whatever. If something doesn't feel good on us, it will show up on our face. However, have you ever worn an outfit and you look great and you walk in a room, show it off, you look great? Angela says yes, right? Ruth, thank you for all good ideas. And if you feel that that outfit brings you joy, it will show up in how you walk, it will show up in how you talk. And so as you're thinking about clearing out, decluttering, and kind of getting ready to go back to the office, I would especially since we have not been in the office and we may need to think of ways to bring joy. I know my first week, hi Lisa, I plan to wear bright colors and only things that make me happy because the reality of it is it could be kind of stressful now going back to the office having after not been there for 17 months. So for me, one of the things that I plan to do is to bring that joy with me into the office. And so when you're decluttering your closet, a tip that I'll share about making sure that you only wear what brings you joy. A lot of times when I talk to people about cleaning their closets, they don't do one thing that I think makes such a huge difference. They actually don't try things on and try them on in front of a mirror. And where I'm going with that is there's no way that you can clean your closet and not try things on. I know it takes a little bit longer. And when I say try things on, you need to try things on in a mirror, in front of a mirror, because then you can see, does this make you feel happy? Does this really fit? Is this really giving the look that you really want? And so I definitely encourage you as you're thinking about going through a decluttering process. And I know as I'm thinking about going back to the office, like I need to stand in front of my closet and look at what I'm wearing and just really think about how what I see in the mirror really reflects the image that I want to show. And so those are my tips. And like I said, my last one was my favorite. Only wear what brings you joy, because I think when you feel great, you look great. When you're in pain, you look like you're in pain, right? And so the key, I think, is to really think about what are those pieces that really bring you that joy. And the other thing that I'll say is, you know, decluttering and really basically it's hard to shop your closet if you can't see in your closet. And that was a lesson that I just had to learn, because I just was finding for quite some time it would take me forever to find things, right? And that's no fun if I'm never able to find things in my closet, right? And so decluttering helps you to do that. And the other part about decluttering is it just brings a sense of peace and harmony to the energy in your space. And I think that makes such an amazing difference in terms of how we want to show up and show out. And the other part of it is it's always better to be able to declutter and see. One of the things that I love about decluttering is that I always find a piece that I did not know existed or I have forgotten about, or if I wanted to increase the number of stuff that I wear, I can actually do it, which is amazing. And oh my goodness, I'm looking in the chat and I see two names I have not seen in so long. My neighbor from when I grew up, whose mom actually gave me the name Marilyn Monroe because she knew that I love fashion. So good to see you, Dana. And my cousin Wanda's here, and she says yes, she'll embrace the tips. So my tip for this week is, we're starting to think about going back to work. And if there are any questions that I can answer about how you want to rethink your closet, or just, some do's or don'ts, please feel free to drop them in the chat. Or definitely you can send me a message either through Facebook or through Instagram. You can DM me. But I just want to say, I'm grateful to I'm grateful to have this community to be able to chat fashion with, especially as we think about our post-COVID looks and what joy we're going to bring. Hi, Ruth. And more importantly, I look forward to seeing what you guys will do as you go back to your offices and kind of really start thinking about what the fashion may be. And so thanks, Adrian. So I do want to encourage you to think about, what percentage of your closet you're actually wearing, and are there things that you may want to do to actually not only increase what you wear from your closet, but to bring joy. So definitely find that amazing tailor. I actually found my tailor through trial and error. But when I found him, I kept him and he's been great. And so I definitely encourage you to think about that. And the other one is just remember those pieces that bring you joy. So for me, it's been this timeless piece of my grandmother's stole. And actually, oh my goodness, Dana's putting in the chat, Marilyn wrote, yeah, no, as a kid, they actually called me that. And I just so appreciate her mom for, I don't know, I guess I was walking around talking about fashion as a kid. So I thank Miss McCoy for coining me Marilyn very early, very, very early in my life. So you all have a wonderful week. Next week, we will continue to talk about getting ready to go back to the office in a fashionable way. And one of the things that I say to my guests, and I'm going to definitely say to you, there's things that we cannot get back in life, and time is one of them. So I thank you so much for joining me this week. I hope the tips were helpful. If they were, please share. And I look forward to seeing you all next week. Have a great rest of the week. Bye.